All right, welcome everyone. We are Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Legend of the Galactic Heroes, episode 62. A coup in the Alliance.
Yes,
another
a military one. And this one is not technically led by Yang, but it's for Yang.
It's for Yang.
Which is ironic.
Yes. But the Rosenritter have made their move. Shankov is leading them with his big, giant, thick gun. And they have rescued Yang. They have kidnapped Rebelo. And they're generally just causing all kinds of chaos and mayhem.
Yes, thankfully they do seem to be restrained a little bit, though, and that's something that does need to be kind of acknowledged here. However, this is something that Yang probably would have
done differently.
Not done exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, this is kind of an interesting situation to see where he'll respond based on how they've done things. To be fair, they're not really killing that many people.
But then there's also Lennenkampf and what he's going to do, and then, like, how is this going to get passed up the chain of command, if at all, to Oberstein, and how's that going to work for him, and
then eventually Reinhardt. Okay.
It's going to be fine.
I feel great about my decision to switch sides here.
Yes, I think that was a good one.
Yeah. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. Well,
okay.
Yang split. He took a bunch of his mates. He took even Admiral. I mean,
yes.
He
Kazern
had
family.
friends helping with that.
Right,
of course.
And yes, the whole thing with the Kazern family, he did tell them to pack. I totally missed that line.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
But the main big point here is that we now have an official split within the Alliance, and Yang tried to give the Alliance an out, which I think will work because Oberstein is a logical individual who will see that is something that, while that means that the Alliance should be punished a little bit for this, he won't I don't think he will dissolve the Alliance immediately.
Because
if anything, he'll utilize and weaponize them to basically say, go deal with this.
Right.
If you don't deal with this in X amount of time,
then you're screwed.
You're screwed.
Yeah. Because it's the thing where even with Oberstein, it's not that he needs the reason to destroy the Alliance. He needs the public to have a reason to destroy the Alliance, So the fact that there's an excuse like this, it's like,
Yeah, he can turn the Alliance against Yang relatively quickly.
Right, but even then, he has kind of been outmaneuvered as far as getting rid of the Alliance. Now, the fact that Lennenkampf killed himself, I love that. Because that really complicates things for Yang. Like, Yang
really does, yeah.
Yang as a character and as a tactician and strategist and everything, we don't see too many times where things actually go badly for him. Like usually, as a result of his subordinates. Usually, it's something where it would be the other people above him, his superiors or the politicians or whatever, and they would be causing him trouble. Right.
Yep.
Now in this situation, because of just negligence, right? They didn't have guards posted in the room. They left the rope in there. They used rope, not handcuffs. Whatever, right? Like, Lennenkampf's dead now, and their one chip that they had is gone. Right? They were gonna swap for Rebelo, and that was a great move. That was a great move, but it didn't work.
Yep.
It didn't work, even though it should have.
Didn't work. Yeah.
So
now we're in a situation where Yang basically has to meet up with Merkatz and the Sherwood Company.
Yep.
And while I would say that Yang has a potentially long life ahead of him if he remains with that group, their initial move after this is not necessarily as clear, depending on the motivations of the people that are all going to be there. Shankov, for one, in a weird way, might end up being one of the most powerful people in this group because he has the Rosenritter's loyalty.
Like, they're loyal to Yang, but if push came to shove, they might actually be more loyal to Shankov.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the part that's weird about this is that while Shankov is kind of saying, hey, take a taste.
Yep.
Take a bite. You don't
right.
Have to
you
worry
don't
about
know if you don't know if you'll like it in the good way or the bad way. Right. So.
And do you not trust us at the very least to hold you accountable. I think that one of the things that's exciting about Shunkov getting what he wants out of this is that Yang can handle a little bit of power. We've seen it.
Yep.
However, we've seen him come very close to doing this whole thing himself, but when it was even easier to kind of make the decision.
Right. Like the main question is the whole thing with the power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. The reason that Yang has been really good in defending against it is not because he's special and immune to it, but because he specifically keeps it away from him. Right? He treats it like a hot iron. So he hasn't gotten burned, right? Reinhard maybe has. In Yang's case, now he is deciding to pick up that hot iron because, you can do a lot with it.
He's not doing that much, though, with it, and I really respect him for that. Because him giving the Alliance the out here will lead, I think, towards the Alliance's survival. Because what I see kind of coming out of this here is that Yang has a fallback plan in Iserlon. He has some kind of card that he's holding, saving there, that he can fall back to probably at any point. But in the meantime, what he can do is he can make things difficult for Oberstein.
Right.
And if Oberstein ends up losing too many times to Reinhard's
chagrin,
yes, we can end up in a situation where the Empire starts to fall apart a little bit. Now, while I would say that in general, the Empire falling apart is bad for everyone. Like, literally just bad for everyone.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Anarchy and everything, and
And then warlords, and then we
Cats and dogs living together, and
Well, yeah, but then you have people who are just admirals with strong fleets.
Yep.
Like a certain someone. Just become the most powerful people in the galaxy. Not just in the Empire, but everywhere.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see if the show will go there, because I could see it being something where if the Empire does end up sort of disintegrating, right? Like if this was the beginning stages of Reinhardt's downfall, It's
a very indirect kind of beginning.
Yeah, it's an indirect beginning, but...
Because it doesn't have to go that way. This could be, if anything, the final nail in the coffin for the Alliance, for all we know.
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
Yeah.
But, if the Alliance goes down, either Fejan or some other faction needs to rise up that can be a competition for the Empire, or just a fracture within the Empire, or we need to shift away from massive organizations doing battle with each other.
I think we're done with that. I think honestly we're done with that. I think this is now moving a little bit towards the Star Wars style, which is the Rebel Alliance, which is a bunch of little groups that are either, people who are fed up with the Empire that are joining the rebels. You have the people that are in somewhat power, like Fejan, where they can...
The opportunists?
No. These are the politicians and the merchants and the people with, little regional power that are like, we're secretly funding you, we're kind of helping do these little things there. I could definitely see some Fejanese people end up kind of on the Alliance's side secretly.
Yep,
and that's where I could see the story kind of going towards, is that it's... How many contacts does Yang have? How many people are willing to overtly stick their neck out for Yang and company? And then also, at what point does Yang's group either succeed or fail in any strong enough way that the story changes in a dramatic way? And I would say that for the most part, they're probably going to succeed in the immediate sense, because they're small. There's no reason to where they can be found easily. And as of right now, Merkatz's crew has not been found. So if Yang just joins up with them, it'll get even better for them as a whole.
Yep. Yeah, because right now Merkatz's crew, the problem is the numbers.
They don't have enough people.
Right, they don't have enough people. Or enough ships. But less people.
They have even less people. Yeah.
Yang is definitely the kind of person that could become a symbol and rally people.
And grab people, exactly.
Yeah. And that's why the fact that he didn't let the Alliance... or he helped the Alliance in that way and sort of painted himself as the bad guy, potentially, in their eyes, really could make things even worse for him, because then it's bad rep for him, right? If his symbol as the freedom fighter and all that stuff ends up being tarnished, he might not end up getting as much support, you know?
I could see that happening because while Rebello will probably get looked on as a villain in history, until we get to the history book kind of stage of things, Yang's reputation is up in the air.
Right.
I could see that it becomes defined entirely based on how the Empire, though, responds to this whole thing.
Sure.
And that's the kind of stuff where I think that if Oberstein is kind of given the reins of, hey, Lennenkampf was your person to put there, you need to fix this, then I actually have a lot of faith in Oberstein's ability to deliver results.
Me too, yes.
But I don't have a lot of faith in the oversight kind of people that would work with Oberstein.
Yeah.
But given that Oberstein is like in the top 5 of the
like
Empire with regards to power.
Oh, yeah, yes, that too. Yeah.
Well, yes, power, but yes, also I would say he is the smartest man in the Empire. Probably outside of maybe, I don't know, 1 or 2 people that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head.
Yeah, because like even Reinhard
is intelligent, yes, but he is also, I would say, more of a master of winning people. And thus he is a better leader than he is a...
Oberstein is meant to be management, basically. Like, that's where he really shines, and this is kind of that sort of situation, managing a conquered nation.
Right.
So,
Reinhard is definitely a battle genius. I'm not trying to undercut that, but I would say that if I put Oberstein and Reinhard in a room with a bunch of logic puzzles, Oberstein will solve them a lot faster than Reinhard would. Just guessing there. So, okay. I really want to see how this all connects back to Julian and the crew that's over there. That could be really interesting.
Yeah, because that's all going on simultaneously. That's going to be interesting.
Shunkov and Attenborough just kind of flexed on everyone this episode.
Yes.
Attenborough's was more of just him kind of peacocking with his outfit.
I mean,
so random and hilarious.
That was so random. Right. I did not expect that, but my God.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, no, here's what it is, Caleb. It's foreshadowing for when both nations dissolve, and then it devolves into piracy and warlords. And then Attenborough will be the most spiffy of all of the roving space pirates.
Yeah, but Shunkov is apparently scheduled to die at 150, which, I mean, hell yeah, bro. You believe that. I'm proud of you.
You go. You
went all full Leonidas and stood in the gap of this hallway and just decided, you shall not pass.
Which I love, by the way, because anytime, like, because, choke points are a thing, right? Especially if they set things up so that you can't use the sci-fi technology that would make it so that choke points aren't a problem, right? Or as much of a problem. And then you just have, a couple dudes with axes and powered armor just standing there, and the high ground.
Don't forget the high ground.
Don't forget the high ground. The high ground is very important.
It's extremely important.
And we can meme about it, but really, if you're in these big clunky suits of armor and there's blood slicking the stairs and things like that, and you're using melee weapons where momentum is part of the things that makes them helpful.
They're awkward to maneuver.
In the narrow spaces and things like that. You could definitely, especially if there's good Shunkov.
Yeah, and your angle of attack on their body is limited to the bottom 40% of them because of the high ground.
Yeah, it's just...
That's just awkward, man. You really would almost be better off just having everyone just all at once just volley, chuck your axes at them and just hope to kill 2 of them. And then rush them without an axe, and if you use dumb tactics like that, where you're like, all right, everyone clump up, meet shield, and
or just go back down the stairs and then just fire random shots of lasers up and hope that actually no.
Hold on. Do cephal particles explode when interacting with energy weapons?
They do. That's why they couldn't use them, because they filled the area, so it would kill them both. But Now the problem is that if they did that, then it would have destroyed the staircase. That's why. Yes.
Right. That I was gonna say. I'm like, it has to be because they weren't gonna want to destroy the staircase, because then they couldn't get to them. But that is something where you could try and use that and be like, no, we're crazy. Who's our craziest soldier? Just go, die for the Empire. Ah! And then it comes in with like an energy grenade. He's like, "This is gonna be a big explosion, bang!" And
I will blow everything.
But then they're like, "All right, now we can just use ranged weapons to keep them up from this big hole that we created up there." And then use some kind of grappling hooks or any kind of thing like that.
Well, the main thing I was really curious about is how they were able to use the same escape route to get back down. Now, I'm guessing that it was just because there wasn't good communication because everything was so fast. And they mentioned twice like how important those
minutes,
like the seconds of the hourglass are, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's chaos. They might not have been communicating of everything that was happening, so like they really only figured out where they came from after. But like imagine for a second that the Empire just been a little faster on their feet, a little bit cooler of a head, whatever, and they realized how they got up there, and then they're like, that's fine. We have air superiority. We just cut off their escape here. They're done.
True.
Like at most they might be able to take him a hostage, take Lennon Kampf as a hostage, and keep him in the building. But if they don't get away, like.
They're done.
They're done.
One of the other things that made it difficult, though, was they had stationed a massive portion of their army at key points throughout the city to take it at about 20 minutes before.
So there were less men here. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the people with the armor, or most of them anyways, like when they were initially making their attack. It's
right. Sorry. In about 20 minutes, they were about to declare martial law and have these squads go and do their thing, which means that they were severely understaffed for a brief period of time, except for the outer parts of the building. So the outer lobby and everything, they still had a bunch of mechanized infantry and stuff like that.
And then those guys went in once the building was, under attack, but,
But it was too late.
Yeah, they lost that first bit of initiative, yeah.
Right, and the Rosenritter's ability to quickly deal with the elevators and the staircases in quick succession, despite there being lots of armed guards already in the building. I think that's just more of a testament to their skill as well, in that they're like, oh, this is foolproof. If anything, as long as we weren't able to blow up one of the staircases. They're already in there, and we at
least it's just one.
We got a cephal particle generator there, but we're kind of awkwardly guarding it.
Right.
So, we need help. And Shunkov's like, all right, everyone who's not doing anything, come with me.
Go there, because we can't let that checkpoint fall.
Yeah, because then it comes from, there's 10 guards coming up. Now there's 200 guards coming up.
Right.
We're overwhelmed with numbers.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that this show kind of is limited in doing because it's an older one. They can't show lots of soldiers on the screen at any given time. It's just too much.
Well, and what I love about it, though, is that there's legitimate reasons for why there wouldn't be.
Exactly. That was what I was going to say next.
Because when the Rosenritter were introduced, I was actually kind of confused of, like, what's going to be their purpose in the story. Like, okay, that's cool that they're badasses as far as infantry goes, but how often are you going to use infantry when you're dealing with thousands and thousands of ships out in space, right?
I mean, they kind of told us how they were being used. They're a special card that Yang can play whenever it comes to ground battles.
Right, exactly.
That's just how they've been used.
And I appreciate how the ground battles are being used.
Ground meaning, like, not space battles.
Right, not in ships. Or like
boarding ships.
Boarding ships and things like that, right. Because, okay, I'll make the Star Wars comparison. Yes. I love Star Wars, but all the times when it's like, they're still doing like, hey, let's infantry versus infantry, things like that and stuff. And it's like, okay.
You have a ship that can just end this whole thing.
Right. Like,
in fact, The Force Awakens kind of had the best example of that when Finn comes in. When Poe comes in.
Oh, yeah, and just takes out all the fighters.
X-Wing just, but also blows up like all the ground units as well. It's just like,
exactly. It's like
that's what happens when you have a good pilot with a good ship. And
exactly.
Ground fight's over. You know?
The fights in the sci-fi are based around the ships, not usually the infantry. But there are these key points where having infantry that can just get in there and cause chaos, and people aren't usually prepared for that because that's not the meta of the combat.
Right. Right. And Rosenritter are specifically good at this.
At the counter meta. Yeah. Right.
So that's kind of exciting and fun to have these characters go do that. And then we get surprisingly reminded every once in a while how graphically horrific it is to use battle axes.
Yep. Which
that are like, I guess, like they've mentioned this I think before, but they're kind of the vibro battle axes where it's like, The armor barely does anything. Like, the armor is mostly there
just to protect them from all the energy weapons.
Right, exactly.
So that you can get up close to use the battle axe. Yeah.
But the battle axes are hefty, sharp, and, like, well designed enough that it's like, oh no, I hit you hard at this point here. It goes through the armor and down to here, and you're dead. It's over. One hit, it's over.
It's that whole rock, paper, scissors thing where it's the ships to make it so that it's not an infantry battle, but if it did become an infantry battle, then all the people on the ships that are meant to be fighting ship battles then go against the people that are fighting the infantry battles and get slaughtered, and then,
And then you hope that some people in there are good enough with energy weapons to where
they can make those, like, pew shots.
Perfect shots through the glass
visor
helmet.
and everything. Yeah. Because, that's just... yeah.
Don't try it. Yeah.
No.
The high ground, after all. All right.
Exactly.
Yang's situation with Rebello, though, is rather interesting.
I enjoyed how that was handled.
The fact that he gave the guy basically I guess, you're right. We're gonna release you and stuff, but we're gonna take Lennonkampf hostage there, and we're gonna give you, if you swear on democracy and the alliance itself that you will not harm my subordinates who had nothing to do with this because they did not know anything, and you'll know who they were because they didn't leave.
Right,
They're still here.
Yeah.
Because we're going to get out of your hair because time is of the essence.
Yep.
But the fact that guy went to Kazern and was like, hey, I'll give you a special deal if you stay, those are the kinds of people that are going to maybe even turn on Rebello and go, no, we need to make an example of them for our own sake, so that when the Empire does come here and be like, how did you guys, actually win anything here?
Give
we can
them
be like,
something.
These were obviously Yang supporters that we captured for you. And it's going to be, Murai and the rest of them are like, we had nothing to do with this. We had no idea.
It's that thing where democracy starts to not really have a priority for a lot of the people there, because from a strictly practical sense, if the people are, were loyal to Yang back then, odds are they'll still be really loyal to Yang now, especially if they were like some of the people closest to him. If they're still here,
to be more concerned about taking care of themselves.
Right. So. Well, because one of the biggest things when you're in a military unit like that is you got to be able to trust the man standing next to you, because your lives are on the line, right? So there's going to be not a lot of trust going around probably for all the people, between the people that are like, Yang's the enemy versus the people that are like
I don't know.
Yang was pretty awesome when I served under him,
Yep. That's another sign of the death rattle for the Alliance, potentially.
Yep.
And then it's just a question of Oberstein and company and Empire folk.
How's this going to work?
I want to know what's your play here.
And Bucock apparently is getting reinstated, which I am very excited for. Like Bucock versus Yang,
if Bucock basically just had that moment, like in Braveheart, was good to see you this morning, and
the fleets go towards each other, and then
they just turn and they just leave the battlefield, and it's just like.
Oh man!
Can you imagine, Jacob?
No,
the Imperial fleet, right? The Imperial fleet shows up, and it's Steinmetz and what have you, the fleet that Lennonkampf was like, no, we don't want to involve them. They show up, and it's like, oh shit, run! And then they're like, okay, we're going to have your fleet that you have here. It's going to be rudimentary. You'll have 2,000 ships at most for the Alliance or what have you. Everything else should be scuttled by now.
Right.
You guys, I need you to work with Steinmetz, and they'll be like escorting you, so they won't be able to do any shady stuff.
And then they'll send them out front to be those cannon fodder potentially, and then
Yang's 800 to 1,200 ships or something like that will be like, okay, well, we can't win, guys, except maybe we can. And then
Attenborough, live feed, okay, full pirate getup. Hey guys. You having fun over there?
And
you look like you're having so much fun.
Why do I feel young again? And he's just like, all right, guys. And
you got more of those outfits?
Yeah, and then they get sent out, and it's the quiet.
Yeah.
And then...
Why are they getting so close? I would love that so much. I would love that so much.
That would be beautiful.
It would be beautiful, yeah.
That moment where... target the Alliance! Somebody fire!
And then the Empire comes in with fleets of 30,000 and just,
I mean, Does the Empire have a fleet of 30,000?
Well, it'd be more like multiple fleets of 10 or 15,000. Yeah.
Right, but like think about this. Like think about this as the ball keeps rolling.
I know.
Right, Jacob?
The numbers just keep going lower and lower and lower.
But who's our favorite ambition boy?
Oh, it's definitely Oberstein's Dalmatian.
Yes, exactly. But the idea of
no, I know Ruintal. You're talking about Ruintal.
Yes, but it's the idea that this kind of chaos, especially if Yang routs a fleet that was stationed in the General Alliance space, and then he gets all that time before the Empire can respond.
Yeah,
this is the kind of thing where Ruintal will be like.
Ruintal suddenly gets a bogus accent and is like, "Chaos is a ladder.
Chaos is a ladder.
Yeah,
it's not a pit.
Yeah,
chaos is a ladder."
But okay, here we are. Yang is on the move, and he got away.
Yeah.
All right,
y'all. Thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
Yes, we stream every weekday. The info's in the description down below.
Yeah, so if ain't that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.